Okay, she doesn't like my drink today.
No, this drink is foul.
I was trying something new. Okay. They didn't have normal kiwi, so I had to get a different type of kiwi. Never had it before. Listen, it's kiwi seeds.
Okay.
Okay. It's like a mango, kiwi, it didn't have mango juice, a pineapple.
Look.
Don't look at it.
How do we feel about salads in our drinks?
I don't like salad.
I try to make it pretty. Okay.
If I have to chew after I take a swallow, that is disgusting.
Listen.
You can't just swallow it.
Just kind of like keep your lips really small when you're drinking it and filter out the chunks like this.
If you have to say that, if you have to say filter out chunks.
I'm Julia.
I'm Amy. And this is Women, Worth, and Weddings.
And today we're going to do some Q&A again.
Yeah. Q&A.
Kind of like relationship based. Talking to significant other or before you get married, your boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance.
Yeah. Well, let's start with the relationship. So I've been married for 20 years next month. Mm-hmm. And so I'm on one end of the spectrum, and Julia is newly married. She's been married for 3 years. So let's talk about just relationships of where we're at in our marriage. So for me, 20 years, we're in that sweet spot. We're over the hump of figuring shit out, trying to be the one that wins, or playing games, all the stuff that happens in your relationship in the beginning. We're on that other end of being look, dude, this is just, we're here, we're in it, we love each other, let's just be great. So for me, I think the biggest thing that I try to do in my marriage is to treat my husband like he's my friend.
Yeah.
Because I think that throughout your marriage, there's going to be a lot of times where you don't like that person. You're mad at them. They're getting on your nerves. You're just God, could you just please go in a different room? Why are you breathing through your nose like that? So just so many different things that you are okay, I don't really like this person. But if you're friends with them, then that's going to take you through to getting that rekindling feeling. Because I always say, and I see this a lot in relationships, when you have friends that are married or whatever, you see how they treat each other. You're would you would never talk to me that way because I'm your friend. So why would you talk to your husband like that?
I've seen plenty of relationships like that, especially with me and Nathan living in Jacksonville, North Carolina, because he's a Marine, and seeing other Marine marriages, which, the statistics aren't great for how long they last. Yeah. We saw all kinds of crazy stuff where we'd look at each other after we got in the car and we're like, did you notice that?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah. I think that, I think that people just forget. Especially when you're on my end of where you're at in your marriage, you forget that that person is your friend, your best friend. They're your ride or die. They're your person. Just don't do stupid shit that's going to make them mad or upset. Just try to be your best self. So what are some things that you see now in your early relationship and marriage that you didn't realize when you got married that it was going to be like that?
I think there's stuff that you find out, not even marriage, when you first move in with someone, you're there's that learning curve. Okay, I do this, which is a pet peeve of his, and I do, he does this that I don't like. I know for me, what I used to do that would drive him crazy. We don't share our toothpaste anymore because I'm the person that squeezes it. I manhandle it. And then there's a handprint in the middle of it, and there's some up here still, and there's some down here. And I'm just drives him crazy. So we don't share toothpaste. We haven't for maybe 4 years now. And also toilet paper, I'm the person that doesn't replace it.
Yeah.
I'm you're on your own, kid. But I don't do that anymore because that would be ridiculous for me to do.
Well, I still do that. But you know what? I do. But you know what Matt says? My husband says, it's those little things that I'm I can do this. Instead of it being an annoyance, it's more of how it's all about how you frame it in your mind. I am so blessed that I get to do everybody's laundry, instead of being oh, all I freaking do is laundry. Instead of being like that, saying, you know, how blessed am I that I get to do everybody's laundry?
I don't feel that way. That's nice. How do you do that?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to stay in that mindset of gratefulness, but I mean, it comes with being older. But I think that just being grateful for those little things of like, oh, you know, and he says like, I'm happy to put toilet paper on the roll because you know what? I know that it's little things like that that I get to do for her. So, anyways, but we do have some like questions that you can ask your spouse to kind of keep the conversations going and ground yourself into each other and make sure that you are, you know, hearing each other throughout the process of being married. Because I think sometimes a lot of married people just kind of float through life together and they don't.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, and you see this a lot, that people get married and then after their kids leave home, they get divorced.
Yeah, because you're no longer even friends.
Yeah, they don't even
like
know each other.
Coexisted in one house.
Yeah. So what are some things that we can say?
Well,
to
I
our
do
spouses?
in my relationship, not question wise right now. We do check-ins, and we'll do it randomly. Sometimes like quarterly, we'll do like check-ins where we'll just like have one-on-one time and be like, hey, like how are you doing? Like, is there anything that, and I know this is some of the questions that we're gonna hit, but what I do personally is I'm like, is there anything that I could do differently to support you? He says the same. What do you think we should do differently this upcoming quarter to better ourselves in our relationship? And then we kind of move on and keep that stuff in mind.
Yeah. And asking what can I do differently or is there anything that's bothering you is huge. And then you have to be willing to, if you ask that question, you have to be willing to take it.
So don't ask that question unless you're in a mindset where you can like listen and not feel attacked.
It's hard for me. That's hard for me because I'm like, I
know you want to immediately like defend yourself,
Yeah.
but it's a time for you to just listen,
Yeah.
and then move on,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
keep it in mind.
Yeah,
You know, even if you're like, well, that's a bunch of crap, I'm not listening to it, whatever. But keeping it in mind, you know.
yeah, I get it. I mean, yeah, it's just, you know, I know for me, you do have to be in the right mindset. Don't go into that conversation when you already are feeling a little
you're
like
hangry.
prickly. Yeah.
Like, I'm hangry. Let's have this conversation. What's wrong?
Yeah. How can I please you?
Like, oh, you think I do that?
Yeah, that's not good.
No,
That's not
don't do
gonna help.
that. But in like a good mind space when you go into that conversation.
Yeah. So what do they call it? Heart. Hungry, angry. What is it? Hungry, angry, something tired. What does that R stand for? I forget. Hungry, angry, something tired. I'll remember in a second. But there is like a thing that you can go off. Never have an important conversation when you're feeling these things. What is that R?
Halt.
Halt. What is lonely?
Lonely.
It's halt. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. If you're feeling any of those things, and this is like you need to check in with yourself, then you don't have tough conversations with your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in the word halt, like stop, like don't do it. So if you want me to make decisions when I'm hungry, I may slap you in the face.
Was tired in that mix?
Yeah, tired's the last.
Okay.
Halt.
I got distracted by my own scenario in my head.
Yeah. So that's just kind of a rule. Halt. I like it. So
That's a good one. Okay, let's ask some of these questions. How can I love you the best this season of your life?
yeah. So when you are just living life, there's seasons. Like you hear it. I mean, I hear it. Like in this season of my life, this is where I'm at. In this season of my life, I have grown children. My daughter's married. My son's in college. I have a 15-year-old. So I am transitioning into like a different place than I was when I had young kids at home. I am just going through a different season in my life. So asking that question will open up like, what's the question again?
How can I love you best this season of your life?
So what would you say if I asked you that? How can I love you best in this season of your life? Sweet girl.
You personally, or am I acting like you're Nathan?
You're acting like I'm Nathan.
Oh. Okay.
How can I love you?
You gotta do the mustache.
Yeah. How can I love you this season of your life?
Oh, Nathan, let's answer this question. traveling with me.
Mm-hmm.
I would like if you traveled with me more. I travel so much this season of my life, going all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you have different types of careers, but
Making an
traveling,
effort.
Yeah.
Love it. So, I mean,
What about you? Okay. I'm not going to do the guy voice. I'm just about to get ready. How can I love you best this season of your life?
I think being supportive of where I'm at in my business, like knowing that I am juggling a lot of plates and then carrying, like stepping up and doing your, like, not necessarily
household stuff that you can't cover.
like, because I think the biggest thing for me, where my guilt halo is super snug, is that I'm not checking off all the boxes on like how I feel my wifely duties should be, like whether it be making sure that, you know, the refrigerator is spotless and there isn't like craziness going on in there. So just being aware of things that I do and like taking care of those things for me.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that. Anything that I need to work on that's bothering you, which is kind of like what we just talked about.
So like we said,
checking in on them.
Be careful with that question though.
Yeah, be in the right mind space.
Yeah, for sure.
If fear didn't hold you back, what would you do? What would you pursue?
Yeah, this is a good one because I think that as couples and really as women, we are we're supporters, right? Mm-hmm. And for men, they're fixers. And so when you ask this question, it allows them to tell you like what's going on in their mind and then it also allows you to say, okay, well, how can I help you reach that? Like, what can we do together to get you to where you're at, where you want to be?
Yeah, I'm a fixer.
You're a fixer?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think most women would be fixers. We want to make things better for everyone else.
Yeah, this is true.
You know, like we're empty and everyone else around us is full.
Yeah. I have a really great friend who says, don't serve from an empty cup. So if you need to be serving, you need to serve from a full cup, because if you're depleted, then you will get resentful of who you're serving, and that's never good.
Yeah. What's your idea of a perfect date? That's probably like a new relationship thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you're like married and stuff,
we go on weekly date night.
I know, you know, that's really important, but like your idea of like a new relationship date night and like a marriage date night can be completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, we just like go out to dinner and then come home and watch a movie and go to bed.
Yeah. And then when you're in a new relationship, you're like spending all this money and doing like all this stuff. Like you're going to Uptown, Charlotte, and you're like, you know, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. What's your ideal date night right now?
I mean, I'm gone so much, I don't even really want to be. This is why I love dry January, because we're not going out. Like, we literally play board games. Like, we're old. Like, we, like, play board games, we watch TV, and we go to bed.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I like, what we just started doing is surprising each other with what we're going to do. Either if it's, like, dinner for the night, like I came home and Nathan had, like, a hosh-posh of different stuff that he knew I liked. Stop drinking it.
I'm
You're going to make that
thirsty.
Face. But he made like a hosh-posh of different things that he knew I liked and like knew I wanted to try. And then, you know, same thing with a date night, you could completely surprise the other person. And, you know.
That's good. And they have like date night boxes that you can order, and every month you'll get a new box that has like different date night ideas in it that you can do. One thing that I would love to do is that game that's like CSI Files or something. Do you know what I'm talking about? And you like solve a murder mystery. It takes hours.
Yeah, they have. I've seen like that.
So you have to like lay everything out, and it has anyway.
Don't you need multiple people? Like you have to figure out who the killer is in the room. There's like
no, it's not in the room. It's like there's been a murder or whatever. And you pull the files out, and it has all the people that are like being questioned or whatever, and you have to figure out who's guilty. You only need 2 people, but it can take a long time to figure it out. Like you have all the stuff. I want to do that.
I can see it just being like, I don't know. Just pull the card. Let's figure it out. We've been doing this for too long. It's not even fun anymore.
I like it.
I saw this couple that was doing like the alphabet for date night, and so each date night was a different letter of the alphabet, like I don't know, something random, A, we're going to go apple picking. B, we're going to stay at home and do some baking. You know, like C,
Sure.
we're going to wherever, you know.
Yeah. That's fun. Yeah, I like that.
It gets creative because then it's like
Yeah.
you get to like really think outside the box.
So I think a lot of also something that happens when you're married a long time, you get complacent.
Mm-hmm.
And that is very detrimental to your relationship because you start feeling like, well, they're not going anywhere. I don't have to make an effort anymore. And you definitely do because they definitely will go somewhere.
Don't let yourself go.
let
Don't do that. Don't float away in the
Yeah.
mom universe.
Yeah. Take care of yourself, mamas. You are the temple of all things beautiful. So,
Prioritize yourself as hard as it can be.
yeah.
What do you want your life to look like in the next 3 years? It's kind of like how people say like a 5-year plan or a 5-year whatever.
Goal setting is huge and making sure that you guys are on the same trajectory to like where you want to go. I mean, Dad and I are really huge on that about like setting goals and knowing like where we want to live and like what we want to, you know, how like our goals of business and relationship and family and all the things and making sure that you're going in the right direction. Because you don't want to have separate goals and then be like, oh shit, we're not even on the same page.
You want to retire in Vermont? I'm over here in Miami.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. That's how we do like the vision boards for the year. And you can look at your vision board and be like, okay, I really wanted that. I need to make sure like I do that as part of the year.
100%.
So that's definitely really important. Same thing. Next one is life dreams. What's your life dreams? That can even be longer down the line. Like, where do you want to retire? What does it look like? How do you want to, like, you know, as morbid as it sounds, finish off life?
God, that's awful. I'm not finishing off life. I'm still young.
What's that list that you get?
Bucket list?
Yeah. What's your bucket list for life?
I don't really think about stuff like that. I think that you should live life full out all the time. I think life is,
That's how I
sounds
feel too. That's
super
why.
cliche, but life is short.
Yeah.
And why wait to do things that you want to do? Like make shit happen. Like if you want to travel,
Do it.
do it. Like figure out a way, save money, like do what you gotta do. Like, I mean, I hate seeing people say, I will be happy when, or I'll do this when. Like that's just prolonging life. And that's just, I don't live my life that way.
Yeah, that's why this year I packed in so much travel. Arizona, I'm going to England this summer. Nathan has family in England, and we've been talking for years about going to see that side of the family. And finally, we're just like, let's just make it happen. Let's put stuff in place. So we're doing that.
Yeah.
My best friend and I have been talking about going to New York for a while. So we're going to New York City for our birthdays, which lands in the same month.
Yeah.
And so I'm finishing off the year. And Charleston in between that, you know.
Yeah. We got things to do, and we're going to make it happen, right?
Yeah, make it happen.
So,
Last one is, what kind of adventures do you want to experience?
yeah, so that goes along,
With
all that
traveling.
goes along with like goals and traveling and things like that. Like what things do you, and then put things in place to say, okay, like you want to take a cruise somewhere, like put a cruise ship on your refrigerator, like work towards that goal because it's so satisfying to set a goal and achieve that goal. It's like the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to switch gears slightly and go into the top questions asked by couples in 2023. So a little Q&A. So how can I avoid planning burnout? So we could actually, this is a thing, especially with brides.
Yeah,
I have to drink
take a
this.
big gulp of that.
It tastes like a dog's tongue. Will you taste this? It tastes like puppy breath.
Well, why do you? Okay.
Tastes like puppy
Why
breath.
do you know the dogs?
Well, the breath. Their breath. Tastes like puppy breath.
You guys are rude.
Am I wrong or am I right?
It's
It
the
was
chunks
fun.
of...
and then there was an after thing.
There is... I think the mango that I used was not very good because I just had a chunk of mango.
My eyes are watering. Oh, God. Okay. So. Oh, man. Okay. So how can you avoid planning burnout? Quick answer. Hire a planner.
Yeah, because what we do for our couples is we have a very long, detailed checklist that keeps them in like sections of the planning process.
And it
don't
gives
even
you
worry about
breaks
that.
in between so that you're not like just burning rubber the entire time that you're planning, that you we space things out. So hire a planner. That's how you avoid burnout. How early is too early to start planning your wedding?
At this point, it's not. Like, there's no too early unless you're not even,
Well, I
it
think
really
like
depends, but we have couples in 2025 that really are like, they're lucky that they booked when they did because Steph's already booking up.
yeah. So I think 2 years is good, 2.5, 3 even. After that, it's going to be hard to book anybody because no one wants to book out that far.
Yeah, because prices change.
Yeah.
And so vendors change their prices. If they're taking a client, 3 years in advance, their prices may look completely different in 3 years. And so it's definitely something that we keep in mind.
Yeah, for sure. And then how many rooms should I reserve in a room block?
They usually do 10 at a time.
10 at a time. So how room blocks work is so do you know the difference between complimentary room block and a block that does attrition?
Mm-hmm.
So complimentary room block is for a hotel that's like, look, I'm not going to charge you anything. I am going to block these rooms off for you. They do 10 at a time. And then when those 10 get booked, then they will block off 10 more. A hotel that does attrition means that you sign a contract with them. They hold a certain amount of rooms for you. But if those rooms don't get booked, then you have to pay like 80% attrition on those rooms, which I highly, highly want everybody to avoid that unless you know absolutely that people are going to book those rooms.
Yeah, because I've had room blocks that I put together for couples, and I'm getting emails couple months before their wedding when the deadline comes up for the room blocks, and they're like, hey, no one's booked yet, like, just letting you know the deadline for your room blocks is this date. I'm like, no one's booked yet. Like, that's crazy if you were held accountable for 10 rooms.
Yeah, 100%. So but you're not going to be able to like book 100 rooms at a time. A hotel's not going to do that.
No.
Okay, 2 more questions. So my fiance and I want to skip doing a wedding party, but we really want to do a maid of honor and best man. Would it be weird to just have 2 people?
No.
We see that all the time.
Yeah.
I think that having a maid of honor and a best man stand up for you is lovely. I think it's great.
You don't need to have 10 people on either side.
No.
Unless you just really have that many people that you want up there.
Yeah, we just had a wedding where there was 22 people in the wedding party.
Yeah. And that's awesome that they had that big of a crew.
Yeah, for sure.
Personally,
yeah,
I'd have 1 up there.
I know.
I'd have 2 actually.
You would have 2. Yeah. Okay, I would have 1. It would be Travis. He would be my man of honor.
Nice.
Okay. I want my wedding to be memorable. How can I make my wedding stand out without blowing the budget?
How do you feel about that? Because you're going to go to vendor based. I'm going to go to design based.
So I think that, okay, so first of all, if this is your thought, like how can I make my wedding memorable, get the book Power Moments, because there are lots of things that you can do to create a memorable moment in your wedding. It doesn't have to be like a whole thing. It can be like a moment, and it's all about how you're making your guest feel. So for example, do something unique like a coffee bar where they get to take the coffee cups home with them as their favorite. Huge. It's a memorable moment. It doesn't have to be an entire thing. Doesn't have to be like trapeze artist and like people like with body paint,
food trucks,
do
stuff like that.
Moments of things. There's a hotel that was super run down. It was falling apart, and someone renovated it, and it was just rinky dink, but they started getting all these 4-star, 5-star reviews and all this like feedback. And the only thing that they did, of course it was clean and all the things, but one thing that they did that was so memorable that moment is by the pool during the summer, they offered popsicles to the guest. That was like the thing. They had a little popsicle cart and they gave the guests free popsicles. It went over huge. It blew the place up. But it was that moment of how they made people feel like, oh, that's so thoughtful. So that's how you can make your wedding memorable, is think about a moment that you can create for your guest.
Yeah. There's so many different types of vendors out there. I mean, we've had popsicles before.
Yeah.
You know, you definitely do something unique like that.
Yeah. What about you?
Mine goes to not vendor based, design based. I'm like, okay, well, you know, chairs can change the whole entire look of a room. You can have like literally just linens in a centerpiece, don't even fill out your table. If you get a better looking chair, then that just like changes the whole entire look.
Yeah.
Colors and chairs.
Colors and chairs and flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, I think we will wrap it up, but this was a good one. I liked this one.
Yeah, it was good.
Yep. And
it's been real.
If you have any comments, questions, or want us to ask any of your questions on our next Q&A podcast, make sure that you like and comment, or you can send us a message through our website, and we will definitely ask your question on our next podcast that we do Q&A. If you want us to leave your name out, make sure that you let us know, or we will put you on blast.
Yep.
Okay, we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.